Welcome to Master Otis's Stained Glass Window Challenge. Unlike my other challenges, where I have a fun guide for you, this challenge is currently unsolved and remains one of Diablo 2's biggest mysteries. The following is my observations and reasons why I think this may be a 20-year-old Easter egg. These are the stained glass window monsters, which can only be found in the City of the Damned in Act 4. They are the rarest spawning minion in all of Diablo 2, as they only appear on map seeds with a cathedral surrounded by a moat. While they cannot attack, they do have the ability to damage players once shattered for those standing nearby. These monsters can heal, but also suffer from open wounds and prevent monster heal. There is no drop table associated with them, and this corpse is not targetable even though the slain monster's rest in peace animation activates upon its destruction. All these details point towards some glorious purpose. Now, before I dive into these reasons, I want to share some history on these monsters. I first stumbled across this monster on one of Extimus's videos, which I have linked in the description. There, he details that the earliest mention he could find on this monster is from 2007, and it took him around 30 games to get these minions to spawn. Originally named an evil force, these were given an official name of Stained Glass Window with the release of Diablo 2 Resurrected. This brings me to reason number one as to why I think these monsters have a purpose. Although I've seen speculation that these monsters are remnants of an additional quest from an unfinished Act 4, these windows have survived over a decade of patches and hotfixes, where Blizzard could have removed them at any time, which includes the release of Diablo 2 Resurrected. With patch 2.4 and future patches teasing additional content, why wouldn't the development team have removed unfinished code so once the polished content is released, it's fresh to the game? The second reason I have to believe this has a purpose has to do with spawn rates. In Extimus's video, he mentions that it took him around 30 games to get the Cathedral of the Damned to spawn. While I initially experienced super low spawn rates, I believe I found a way to increase those odds. Again, call me crazy or superstitious, but when I added an active standard of heroes to my 90 plus characters inventory, along with activating the chat gem before creating a game, on average I was able to spawn the Cathedral of the Damned every 6-ish games with multiple confirmed back-to-back games. While the chat gem is rumored to do nothing, the developer behind the chat gem confirmed its functioning as intended. The Standard of Heroes is meant to serve as a trophy alongside a Hellfire Torch for completing the Pandemonium Uber event, although it begs the question why it adorns a level 90 requirement and what is unlocked by having it active in your inventory. My final and most compelling reason why I think this monster has an undiscovered purpose is that there is code logic behind the stained glass window monster. This sounds crazy, but stick with me. These monsters have the ability to move. When you first enter the cathedral, all the stained glass windows are neatly tucked inside the frames of the cathedral, but as you will see, the game has built in a mechanic to shift several of those windows a few feet out of its original frame. This is also true in the Lord of Destruction version of Diablo. At first, I thought this was related to a timer, which was disproved when the windows shifted after 15 minutes, and in a later game shifted after only 2 minutes. Then, I thought maybe it had to do with releasing Tortured Souls, both monster and chest versions, littered throughout the City of the Damned, but this too was inconsistent. Same idea with champions and elite mobs, although this was too random, as I would kill a pack and upon checking the glass monster was unmoved, then killing another pack to see the shift. I even attempted a refined by fire approach, but this too was unreproducible. While the cause of this shift is not yet known, it got me excited because now this rare spawning glass had a trigger where there is a clear unmoved state and a moved state based on an in-game occurrence. On the other hand, this essentially doubled all my testing. Now, anytime I thought of a new theory to test, I needed to test on a shifted stained glass window monster and on an unmoved stained glass window monster. Is this another secret endgame content like the cow level or Ubers just waiting to be unlocked? Do the stained glass windows need to be broken in a special order or with specific gear? What cube recipe could be needed to unearth this Diablo 2 secret? While I have tested a lot, there is always more to test, so to help save yourself some time, or to spark additional inspiration, the rest of this video details a few of my failed attempts, which may also shed some light on some lesser known quirks of Diablo 2. My first round of tests had to do with quest items, which are the Heraldric Malice in Act 1, the Staff of Kings and Heraldric Staff in Act 2, the Gidbin in Act 3, and the Hellforge Hammer in Act 4. Once those tests were complete, I then upped each of these, which converts them to a hand axe base, which can be further upped into a hatchet and additionally a tomahawk, making these uniques the only ones in the game that can be upped 3 times. Next, I attempted with Wart's Leg, and additionally with an imbued version from the Charcy quest in Act 1. This led me down a very fun path where I explored the lore of Diablo 1, as much of the storyline takes place in the Tristram Cathedral, similar to the Cathedral of the Damned. There, I collected uniques such as the Spire of Lazarus, because Lazarus convinced Griswold to enter the Tristram Cathedral to save Wart, Griswold's edged sword, as he was the blacksmith of Tristram, and the Rising Sun amulet, as Wart's dream girl, Gillian, worked at the Tavern of the Rising Sun. Even though Griswold and Wart made it out of the cathedral, Wart tragically lost his leg and received the peg leg we all know and love. Ultimately, Wart was killed by the cows of Moo Moo Farm, so for good measure, I also attempted with the Cow King set. Observing the church theme of the cathedral, I also collected Angelic Set, the Disciple Set, and Heaven's Brethren, along with most of the other sets, to see if they had any effect. My quest continues as I experiment with random cube recipes inside the cathedral along with random uniques and shattering the stained glass windows in certain patterns. I've had a blast exploring this Diablo 2 Easter egg, which ultimately may not even exist, but also points to the beauty of this game, which has so many glorious endgame contents for players to experience. Hopefully, this ignited the same wonder and curiosity as it did for me, and I wish you the best of luck testing any theories you come up with. But I'm also happy to nerd out with you on Diablo 2 conspiracies in the comments.